Deep inside the Liang Tebo cave in Borneo, Indonesia, archaeologists found the bones of a young Homo sapien who was missing a leg, buried in sediment less than 1 meter deep. Scientists consider this finding to be the earliest evidence of the successful surgical removal of a body part, and think that it will completely rewrite medical history. The area where the skeletal remains were found is so remote and mountainous that during certain times of the year, it is only able to be reached by boat. Radiocarbon dating done on charcoal found on top of, next to, and below the skeletal remains indicate that they are around 31,000 years old. Scientists also dated enamel in a tooth of the skeletal remains by measuring the amount of radiation it received during burial. The age calculated from the amount of decaying uranium isotopes found in the enamel matched the age calculated from the radiocarbon dating. The lower left leg of the individual ends in a stump and bears clear indications that the foot had been skillfully amputated when the individual was a child. Most surprisingly to researchers was that the individual survived for several more years before they died of undetermined factors between the ages of 19 and 21 years old. The archaeologists who worked on the finding say that the amputation is evidence of advanced surgical skills, and is the oldest known example in the records of surgery taking place. Numerous things can go wrong during surgery and amputation in pre-modern times. One can die from the loss of blood, shock from the pain, and infection from bacteria. It was only in the last 100 years, when disinfecting wounds became commonplace, that societies in Europe and the West began to regularly avoid the three complicating factors. Furthermore, most researchers had long hypothesized that most societies would not have even bothered to attempt amputations, much less perform them successfully, before the agricultural revolution. The previous record for the oldest known example of a successful amputation was one that was done on an old farmer who lived 7,000 years ago in present-day France, who had their left arm removed a little above their elbow. Scientists have also long contended that the adoption of farming and the attendant changes in lifestyle led to numerous hitherto unknown health problems, prompting societies to pursue medical innovation. Despite all this, the 31,000-year-old skeletal remains from Borneo reveal a very sophisticated hunter-gatherer society, as the child amputee who had their lower left leg removed survived for 6 to 9 years after the surgery. This strongly suggests that the amputee not only received good medical care, but also lots of support from their society and community, whom surely helped them recover. Members in the community had to have cleaned the amputee's wound a lot to prevent infection from setting in. They also had to have helped feed the individual and help them walk around to avoid the development of bed sores. After the amputee recovered, the individual likely would have needed help getting around their environment, as the region around the cave in Borneo is very mountainous. The amputee likely did not walk much at all after the operation, due to the weakening of the bones in the right leg from lack of use, and therefore was likely given food regularly by community members, and may have instead been given sedentary jobs to support the community. The finding in Borneo, Indonesia, indicated conclusively to scientists that mankind already had the capabilities to amputate diseased or injured limbs, thousands of years before most humans began living in permanent farming communities. A clear indication of the sophistication of the procedure that the amputee received was that there was no evidence of infection found in any of their bones, and that new bone had grown over the location of amputation. A further indicator of the prehistoric surgeon's skills is that while the amputee had an adult-sized skeleton, their bones at the location of the amputation ceased to grow, keeping it child-sized. This means that the wound successfully healed into a stump. Researchers believe that the prehistoric surgeon had to have used precise surgical tools such as scalpels and knives made from stone during the procedure. Researchers are certain that the surgeon had to have had extensive knowledge of anatomy, in particular the muscular and vascular systems, to be able to work with and around exposed vital blood vessels and nerves. An unskilled surgeon could easily cause their patient to die from blood loss or infection. The prehistoric surgeon perhaps also knew of the importance of cutting off the limb of an individual to ensure their continued survival. Medicinal plants that can act as germ killers grow in the area near the cave in Borneo, and researchers are also certain that the hunter-gatherer society likely used these on their patient who received the amputation. Researchers think that the hot and humid tropical environment in which the hunter-gatherer society lived would have led to especially rapid rates of infection in any wound that was incurred. This in turn would have created an incredible demand to stop infections, spurring members in the group and region to search the jungle for medicinal plants that could do so. This expertise in successfully performing amputations is in stark contrast with the rudimentary knowledge and skills of medieval European surgeons, who often were just as likely to unwittingly kill patients with their methods as the wounds themselves. Modern medicine in the West, which began with the scientific revolution in the 17th century, only achieved consistent amputation success with the discovery and regular use of disinfecting agents on wounds. Scientists are certain that the amputee did not lose their leg on accident, such as from an animal attack, as the severing cut area was very slanted, sectioned, and smooth. The cut marks on the bones do not match modern clinical descriptions of limbs lost, due to accidents or intentional violence, as these events cause bones to break apart into pieces. If the amputation was caused by an animal attack, the individual likely would not have survived for another 6 to 9 years after receiving the wound, as animal bites often lead to deaths from infections due to bacteria from the teeth of the animal going into the wound. Additionally, there is no signs of infection at the site of the amputation. As for the possibility that the amputee lost their leg as a punishment from their community, perhaps in retaliation for running away from slavery, scientists have confidently ruled this out, as the person lived for years after the operation, had their wound regularly and carefully cleaned, and was also buried with care. For example, the amputee received a kind of tombstone with limestone markers placed atop their head and arms. They were also buried with a large ball of ochre, which is a mineral-based coloring used in cave art, as well as several flaked chert artifacts. The art buried with the amputee, and the hand paintings found throughout the cave in which they were found in, indicates a hunter-gatherer society that highly valued art. 31,000 years ago, Borneo was not an island, but was instead part of a Eurasian supercontinent called Sunda. Researchers are certain that the area around the cave, and Borneo in general, is where prehistoric humans began migrating further south to what is now the present-day countries of Papua New Guinea and Australia. This constitutes the first major and successful seaborne journey. Scientists have long known that these people were sophisticated artists, but with the discovery from the cave, they now know that they also had advanced medical expertise and knowledge. This knowledge is of particular interest to researchers, and as of now they are looking into the types of stone tools that could have been used during the operation. The archaeologists think that the thorough knowledge of human anatomy, physiology, and surgical procedures displayed in the amputees' society was probably developed over an extended time period through experimentation and was taught to each subsequent generation orally. Despite the astonishing discovery in Borneo, researchers have cautioned that the hunter-gatherer group's proficiency with medicine and surgery may be an outlier in the archaeological record, and that there is the possibility that few, if any, other groups possess their surgical skills. On the other hand, scientists still contend that it is just as likely that the Borneo skeletal remains could be just one instance of many yet to be found examples of advanced surgical skills in the archaeological record. Furthermore, they contend that advanced surgical skills may have been widespread throughout human prehistory. Unfortunately for the researchers, their work was cut short due to the onset of the spread of COVID-19, which prompted the Australian team of researchers to leave Indonesia immediately, lest they be stuck in the country for over 2 years. However, they hope to someday return, as the amputee remains were found less than 1 meter deep in the sediment, while beneath the remains there is another 3 to 4 meters of unexplored sediment before bedrock is reached. The scientists hope to dig through these remaining layers of sediment for more possible finds. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed my documentary, don't forget to like and subscribe, and check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/World Chronicles.